I'm 17F and ILIVED with my single dad, my brother Dave, 15, other brother Josh, 13, baby brother Sam, 10, and our paternal cousin Ben, 16. Our mom died almost 6 years ago. Things were hard and my dad relied on me a lot to help care for my brothers while he worked. I didn't complain and just helped watch and cook for them when dad wasn't home. And even when he was, because he said he worked all day and needed a break. I put up with it cause Dave helped a lot as he got older. Issues cropped up a couple of years ago when we had to take in Ben. His dad left and his mom started drinking to the point where she was unable to care for him. CPS almost got involved and to avoid that he came to stay with us. I don't like Ben, he's a creepy little perv who would always comment on my clothes, how short tight they were with and he always busted into my room without knocking, no bedrooms have locks. I once even caught him in my room going through my underwear drawer, and when I yelled at him, he said he was just looking for some socks. He had 3 other guys who he could borrow socks from. Well, the other day I had run out to the shop and Dave texted me. It was a video. It was out of focus at first, but I froze when it cleared up enough for me to see it was of Ben in my bedroom and going through my hamper. He was smelling the crotch of one of my dirty pairs of panties and then he just stuffed it in his pocket. That's when the video cut off. I was mortified and immediately came home and called my dad and told him what happened and even sent him the video. He just told me he'd talk once he got off work. Well, I stayed in my room and refused to talk to Ben. But long story short, dad came home and tried to rug sweep everything. Told me teen boys do weird things sometimes, but he'd talk to him and it wouldn't happen again, and we should all forgive and forget. I couldn't believe it and lost my temper and said this was crap. Ben was being a freak and smelling my dirty panties and going in my room again. I'm supposed to just shrug and forgive and forget. Dad snapped at me to watch my mouth, and I just couldn't see myself sleeping there, so I stormed off to my room and called my maternal aunt-uncle. I told aunt everything and she was horrified and said she was coming to get me to stay with her. I packed a bunch of my stuff and Dave helped me take a couple of bags and boxes outside. Dad was in his room and didn't notice I was gone till the next day. But my aunt told everyone on my mom's side what he did, and now he's getting a lot of crap from family for it. He's mad at me for airing family laundry to everyone and making him look like a bad dad. But it feels like he didn't care. Ben was being gross towards me. Like he didn't care. Am I overreacting? I know teen boys are gross sometimes, but still. Should I have just done something different? Maybe asked to stay with my aunt and not said why? Am I the idiot? Edit. I've been getting lots of comments from people thinking Ben was the one to record himself and send it to me. He didn't. Dave, my brother, caught Ben in my room and recorded him on the sly thinking he was gonna catch him stealing or something, not full on creeping that weirdly. Dave said he planned to send the video to our dad as proof Ben was stealing. Dave is sure Ben stole some stuff from him and our other bro Josh, but when he caught Ben smelling my underwear, he sent the video to me instead. Also, I'm staying with my aunt indefinitely until my dad either kicks Ben out or really punishes, reprimands him, and installs both a knob lock and padlock on my bedroom door. Not the idiot. This should have been nipped in the bud, and boys being boys isn't an excuse. Tomorrow what else will be excused in this way? Your dad just didn't want to get rid of a maid. So that's the thing, you did the right thing. I didn't think about it before staying with my aunt, but I've been doing the bulk of the house chores since our mom died. I just assumed it was because I was oldest, but my brothers are old enough to do their own stuff now. But like that, they don't know how excuse got thrown around until I just got fed up and did my usual chores. I hope you're okay. The way Ben snooped in your room was inappropriate and foul, and I totally understand how you felt. You definitely needed to get out of there. It's clear your dad doesn't take your safety seriously and would rather avoid an awkward situation. Not the idiot, your dad is a bad father for not doing anything and standing up for his daughter over someone who is clearly predatory towards you. You deserve to feel safe from the perv and your father's neglect. Hopefully, he comes to realize his mistakes and how awful the misogynistic boys will be boys line is. And how he could have put you in danger for future predatory behavior. Stay safe. Yeah, I've felt uncomfortable for a long time. Since the first time I caught him looking for socks in my room. That was over a year ago. I'm scared to think of how many times he's been in my room that nobody caught him. Dave doesn't like him either, none of my brothers do. Ben showed up with a very prominent only child attitude mixed with an "I'm older, so listen to me" attitude towards my brothers. But they just ignore him for the most part, and he doesn't creep on them like he did with me. I, 36F, found out that I am pregnant. I am overjoyed as I have always wanted a child of my own. I focused on my career in my life, and since I am single, I wasn't sure if having a baby would ever happen. I was excited to tell my family the big news. My older sister has one child, my nephew, 7M. My brother is married, but he and his wife have made it very clear they will always be child-free. Last night we had a family dinner, and I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to share the news. Since this will be my only child, I wanted to make it special, and I also wanted to involve my nephew. I got a shirt that read "This is what an awesome big cousin looks like." I slipped away with my nephew before dinner and had a special moment with him while I told him he was going to have a cousin. My nephew was very excited and put on the shirt. He put his sweater on over it and I told him he could take the sweater off whenever he wanted at dinner. In the middle of dinner, he took off the sweater and waited for someone to notice. Soon my sister jumped up and excitedly screamed when she saw the shirt. They all then immediately assumed it was my sister-in-law. I wasn't hurt by them assuming this, and I kind of expected it because she is married. I was hurt because my sister-in-law didn't try to correct them. She just went along with it and began to rub her flat belly while laughing. I must have looked completely hurt because my mother yelled at me to stop being rude and to congratulate them. I tried to explain that I was the one who gave my nephew the shirt. They all didn't even hear me and just continued to fawn over my sister-in-law. My brother stood frozen in shock, just asking his wife if she was serious. I got up and went home. I received multiple texts at this point from them telling me what an idiot I am for making this about me. They said things like it wasn't my sister-in-law's fault that I was jealous. I didn't reply to anything and just cried myself to sleep. This morning my sister-in-law must have finally let it slip that she is not pregnant. They have now all called me to apologize, saying that they just got caught up in the moment. They said I shouldn't have left the dinner and that it was my fault I wasn't clear enough that I was the one who is pregnant. My mom said I could have a redo dinner so I can get it right and they will all act surprised. My sister-in-law sent me a message that said that the way I chose to announce was how she wanted to do it if she ever got pregnant. She said that since she is not ever having a child, she just wanted to experience what the moment would be like. She also said I can have my chance at the redo dinner. I told them no and that I will not be doing a redo. Every single person has now told me I am being selfish and an idiot because I won't let them make it right. To me, there's no fixing this. I will eventually forgive them, but I don't want to do a second announcement so they feel better. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but I don't get why you left. I would have yelled at the top of my lungs until they heard me and corrected the misunderstanding on the spot. Your sill would have looked like a dummy, your family would have been excited for you, and you all would have gotten the moment you wanted, albeit after a confusing minute or two. At this point though, what's done is done, there's no redoing at the moment. Not the idiot. She so wanted the attention. She pretty much pretended to be pregnant, which is so weird. This was supposed to be a happy moment for you and your family, and she hijacked it. What the actual hell? Your family actually turned this around and made you the bad guy? Your sill is a piece of work, all right, but dear God, your parents actually sided with her. Jesus. Not the idiot. My 15-year-old son was asked in January to be the flower dude at my brother's wedding, which will be at the end of this month. Since then, my STBSIL has made frequent comments to my son along the lines of, "So what are we going to do about this hair?" He has thick curly hair that he's been growing out for a little while now. He's got a gold photo we've been showing to his hairdresser. A couple of weeks ago I texted my brother to let him know that we will groom and style his hair and use the product to tame it, but I was not going to make him cut his hair. At that time, my brother said that was fine. Then he told me his fiancée wants to take my son to her hairdresser for a trial run on his hairstyle. Side note, won't go into the entire history, but I've had issues with her need to dictate and control, including one time she told my brother he couldn't accompany my son to the ER for stitches unless she could go too. I told him I'd make sure we did the trial run on my son's hair. He then wrote that his fiancée wanted final approval. I said I'd make sure he looked nice on their wedding day. Then a few days ago my stepfather wrote my son, telling him he would not be getting fitted for his tux until his hair was cut. His exact words were, No decent haircut, no tuxedo fitting, you will not be in the wedding, but seated in the general audience with your family, that is the result of no haircut. Got it? My mother is also firmly on the haircut side. She feels I should make my son cut off his hair because it's a very formal wedding and claimed we should have known that was the rule from the beginning. I finally texted her back and stated had we been told that was a condition of being in the wedding, my son could have declined then instead. He was subjected to several months of passive-aggressive remarks until I finally addressed it. So now it's really blown up. At this point we aren't even going because to me, kicking a family out of a wedding party for refusing to alter his appearance when he has had this hair for years is ridiculous. My family thinks I'm unreasonable for not forcing my son to cut his hair. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Britazilla needs to get over herself. I wouldn't go to the wedding either. This is a very ridiculous situation. If I had a nephew I loved I'd want him in my wedding regardless of what he looked like. Poor kid. Tell him his hair is awesome. Not the idiot. Seriously, why on earth do people get the idea that it's okay for them to dictate a semi-permanent change, inasmuch as once the hair's cut, that's it, you gotta wait months years for it to regrow that length again, for the privilege of attending their wedding. Personally, I'd be horribly tempted to rock up as a family in casual suits and wild hair colors at this point. But that's probably not diplomatic, so not attending might be the wiser choice. Not the idiot. Do you know who's going to remember the flower boy's hairstyle after the wedding? Literally no one.